It's all a massive distraction. And I'm not sure when people are actually going to wake up to being drunk in the Coliseum. Look at Twitter. Everybody's diving down the rabbit hole. All the riddlers coming out with all this stuff. What happened to the Epstein files? I thought they were going to come in and reveal everything. We were all waiting for a savior, and they got you looking this way when they're changing your whole financial system this way. I've been warning people since 2020 that your whole system was changing. And by 2030, it's going to be absolutely unrecognizable. And the problem is the unsuspecting public isn't going to know what happened. The wealth gap is going to be absolutely massive. So you got to get yourself out of the Coliseum. Over the weekend, Trump and Elon's battle continues. Elon is now starting the American Party. If you don't follow Ray Dalio's changing world order, you are not going to understand what's about to happen to your monetary system. The middle class is getting wiped out, leverage source technology moving down to the working poor. They're about to print more money than in history, and every single dollar in your bank account is going to be worth less, worthless. The wealthy are moving into Bitcoin. The central banks are stacking gold. They're going to buy up all the real estate. And just like the World Economic Forum said, you're going to own nothing and be happy by 2030. But the fact is, Americans don't own anything now, and they're miserable and unhappy. And all they're doing is following the Epstein files. They're worried about Beyonce. They're worried about Jay-Z. They're worried about P. Diddy. And it's distraction, 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 distraction as the whole system changes right underneath your nose. So let's dive in to what is actually happening within your financial system. But first, let's take a look at what was going on this weekend. So we know Elon bounced from the White House, and it's been nothing but distraction. Elon versus Trump now, okay? So Trump or Elon posted this poll, and then I'm going to take you into the financial component. I'm going to show you why I hold Bitcoin and XRP as my hedge against a deflating US dollar. And I'm going to show you why I use cash value life insurance to protect my principal, okay, to protect my family and to lock in money tax free at my retirement. Because yes, you're going to have lower taxes than you've ever had before. Yes, they're going to print more money than in history. But if you don't know that your money's worth less, you're going to be caught on the wrong end of this equation. Okay, so Independence Day is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from two party. So what would you say to a uniparty system? 65% voted yes. Okay. Then here's Trump's response to Elon's uniparty. Check this out.
Elon Musk starting a third party.
I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. We have a tremendous success with the Republican Party. The Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. And I think starting a third party just adds to confusion. It really seems to have been developed for two parties. Third parties have never worked. So he can have fun with it, but I think it's ridiculous.
Okay, so he thinks it's ridiculous. Today we all wake up and everybody's talking about the Epstein files. Guys, I thought these guys were coming in and exposing everything. I thought they're going to be the heroes, the saviors, right? Remember, pick up your mat and walk. Jesus Christ gave us all this. Pick up your mat and walk. Think about that. Your faith has made you healed. It's here, guys. It's here. Get focused. Be a warrior in a garden, not a gardener in a war. If everybody healed this, and if everybody healed their hearts, and if everybody got their shit together, all this would start to dissipate. But we won't. And that's not how it works. But you can. So listen to, okay, so now let's get into the financial component. That's my expertise, is the macro microeconomic understanding how to transmute my deflating dollar or my inflation dollar into deflationary assets that are making my family wealthy. Okay, so the American Party is, this is Elon posting this, is needed to fight the Republican Democrat uniparty. So this is, he responded to this. US debt rises irrespectively of who's in White House. So it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. This is the rise of debt, guys. 81, right? They detached from the gold standard in 1971. Look at this. Boom, just skyrockets. They keep raising the debt ceiling. There's no reason to have a debt ceiling. They're going to raise it again. They're going to lower interest rates and they're going to print money. You're going to feel rich, but if you have a bunch of money in your bank account, you're poor. Your grandparents and parents that are storing cash, they're storing trash. It's hard to rewire your brain and understand why Trump all of a sudden flipped and said 3 years ago, I'm buying Bitcoin. Now, here's a clear picture of it. Okay. This is from Bitcoin Magazine. This is why Bitcoin. They printed 8 trillion, gave you 1400, and sent the rest to their friends and left you with inflation. So let me explain what they mean by this. From 2020 to 2022, they printed more money than history, and they gave you a $1,400 stimulus check, Cantillon effect. They took the money, and go look at the wealth gap from 2020 to now. The biggest tech companies in the world became billionaires as we became 19% poor with our buying power. And what we did from 2020 to 2024 is we transmuted our cash, which is worthless, into things like Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, ADA, HBAR, VChain, XLM, things with real utility. Well, specifically my XRP when Trump got elected went up 600% and my Bitcoin 195%. So your worthless cash, I grew 600% and I grew my Bitcoin by 195% on the back end of this year. I'm about to triple that. Pay attention, guys. So this is Elon just keeps going. Just in, this was this morning. Elon said his new political party will embrace Bitcoin. Fiat is hopeless. That's what he put. Fiat is hopeless. Okay. Now let's get into the cryptocurrency part of it. Okay. So French Hill posted this. He said in 2 weeks, that's from, that'll be 2 weeks from now. So we'll be going in the back end of the year. I told you guys August is going to be wild. I've been saying that over and over again. You know, people keep commenting on my videos about down below. I was saying 90 days ago, it was about, what are we, about a month out? So about 60 days ago, going into August, it's going to start to get wild when they lower interest rates and print money. So let's pay attention to what's about to happen over the next couple months.
Middle of making crypto policy for the United States of America. You have an upcoming crypto week. Tell us about that.
Well, right now, digital assets, cryptocurrency, and everything related to using financial payments on a blockchain is basically not regulated, not clear to consumers, investors, entrepreneurs how to use it, how to avoid federal prosecution. So in 2 weeks, we'll bring to the House floor the Clarity Act, which gives the rules of the road of how to invest in digital assets, how to trade them, how you can be a broker, and the market framework for digital assets. And we'll also bring to the House floor dollar-backed payment stablecoins, which we believe those two things will advance America's power around the world in financial services by extending the authority of the U.S. dollar as we move from finance in a traditional format to finance being carried out on a blockchain.
Boom. In 2 weeks, you should have clear rules of the road for banks. Okay, this is a Treasury Secretary. This was posted by Vivek. Treasury Secretary says Bitcoin and crypto, he doesn't say that in his statement, is the most important phenomenon. He talks about digital assets. I'll let you hear for yourself.
This administration's commitment to digital assets, it's innovation because there's so many other things that happen around digital assets. And also, it's one of those things that it's one of the most important phenomena that's happening in the world, and the U.S. just ignored it.
Boom. Okay. Now, this is going to be a longer, about 3 minutes. Okay. So I want you to pay attention. This is Vivek Ramaswamy. He's talking about the traditional 5%, right? Return. Money doubles every 7 years at 10%. Okay. He's talking about if you gave someone $10,000 at 5% annual compounding, they would end with $70,000 by age 40. If you did a 15,000 annual compounding, if you're taking Bitcoin on average, it grows about 50% every year. But if you take something like Bitcoin and you gave a child $10,000 at birth, they would retire with $2.6 million. So think about this. With your deflating worthless dollar, you have to, I'm 49. I can't play games anymore. I can't mess this up. I'm very strategic with my insurance. I'm very strategic with my digital assets. I'm very strategic with my cash generating dividends. And I am focusing on compounding and tripling my wealth over the next 9 years. Okay. Bitcoin is going to break the matrix in that 7 years. At 7 years, at 10% every 7 years, money doubles. Okay. So Bitcoin is the wave of the future. We need to teach ourselves and then teach our kids. So for example, my son and daughter are already set up to retire with $1.6 million just through their insurance. My daughter decided not to go to college. She took all her graduation money and became an investor like me. She is now 21 and she's on her way to be a millionaire by the time she's 30, minimum by the time she's 30, probably by the time she's 25. because I taught her the power of compounding. I taught her the power of cash flow. I taught her the power of investing, then spending, not spending, then saving. I taught her to save, and then you spend what's left, and you can blow whatever you want. Sweetie, she's traveling around the world. She's on a plane right now going somewhere else. Every month she is traveling. I said, you save 30%, and then you can blow the rest of it. She will retire than most doctors, lawyers, people that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, and she'll be able to travel around the world the rest of her life because I taught her how money actually works. So listen to what Vivek has to say about what he's going to do if he becomes mayor or governor. He'll say it right here. I think it's governor. And he talks about he's going to be educating the kids around Bitcoin.
Hypothetically, if you had a kid start at birth with $10,000, that's the left-hand column here, and that's compounding annually at a 15% annual rate of return. That represents over $160,000 by the time that kid is 20, $660,000 plus by the time that kid is 30, and $2.6 million by the time that kid turns the age of 40. It would be a generation of multimillionaires built on the back of compound interest. In fact, you could even take the $10,000 and give it right back to wherever it came from. And $2.6 million minus $10,000 is still, on this math, around $2.6 million. Now, the rate of return really matters, because if that rate of return was reduced to as low as 5%, say the yield on U.S. Treasuries, 10-year Treasuries today, the compounding math is really different. That $10,000 only becomes $70,000 by the age of 40. That means that our path out of our financial morass has to run through two things.
So important. Listen.
Number one is starting early and starting young. The compounding doesn't work unless you start early and let the magic of time actually work in your favor. And number two is the rate of returns actually really matter to the outcome.
This is why Bitcoin and crypto is so important. Listen.
We're able to deliver. And I say this looking towards the 21st century, not looking backwards, but to our future. If we're really targeting 15% returns, compounding for the next generation of Americans at a rate that actually matters, there's no version of that in the 21st century that does not include a serious discussion about the inclusion of Bitcoin and the assets of the future to drive that compounding for our kids and their generation, to cultivate a generation of millionaires in America without actually apologizing for it, to embrace that success, a generation that's not spiteful to somebody else's success, maybe even those of you in this room, because every kid is participating in it with real skin in the game. So what can a governor do to help lead the way to that vision where every kid is able to participate in the magic of American capitalism and compounding, to not be spiteful towards the successful by being successful instead? One of the things I will do is I will lead Ohio to be the first and top state in the country to integrate financial literacy into our public education that includes the power of compounding, including education about Bitcoin as an asset class that every young person ought to be aware of as they...
Oh, damn well I'm teaching my kids. Damn well I'm teaching my kids how cryptocurrency works. My daughter is a cryptocurrency investor. She also has her family bank already set up. I'm teaching her about cash flow. I'm teaching her what cash is. It's absolute trash. My son already knows. He knows he's 9. He knows what the assets and liabilities are. We look at I teach him what net worth is, right? He's already coming up on a 5-figure net worth. He's 9 years old, guys. You have to change your state of mind. As a parent, you have to get your kids started early. If you got 2 cars in your parking lot and you got $1,200 in payments and your kids are not being started saving yet, let's go. Let's go. Go get rid of your car payments. Drive hoopties, guys. I'm telling you, we did this for 5 years. It changed our lives. And the next 5 years is going to change my kids' life. So let's listen to what Joe Rogan said a while ago. And this is all coming to fruition.
Imagine if Bitcoin becomes the only money worth anything. And then everybody's like, but I don't have any of it. Well, your money's not worth shit. You got to get new money. You got to get money in Bitcoin.
That's what's going to happen.
And then there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin, right? Like the Bitcoin number is finite. Right. So like maybe there's no Bitcoin for you.
Right.
Like, what the f- are you talking about?
That's
like,
what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen.
You just predicted the future, Joe.
I think that's going to happen in some sort of a way, because I think this thing we do is inevitable. Like we make better and better technology, and we're all obsessed by it.
Right.
Okay. So let's break this down. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and buy Bitcoin, right? Everybody's like, but Bitcoin's at 111,000. Here's how I have my family set up. Okay. I hear people say Bitcoin's trash. It's going to zero. It's blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, that's fine. You can believe that. I'm diversified in different asset classes. Here's how I personally use it. I will only ever tell you how I'm using it for my family. I practice what I preach. What I'll tell you is a scam is meme coins. What I'll tell you is try to get rich quick. What I'll tell you is how you get wrecked is chasing influencers who are bringing you in and out of cryptos. That's not how wealth is built. Wealth is patient. Wealth is discipline. Wealth is consistent. Wealth is protected. And wealth takes time. Okay. Now we broke the money matrix because money compounds every 7 years at 10%, but we grew our wealth by 600% in one asset class when Trump got elected and 195%. So we broke the money matrix. But what we didn't do is we didn't buy Lambos. We didn't buy Ferraris. We didn't buy bigger houses. We bought cash flow. We insured our wealth so that we could leverage tax-free. So let me break down the whole ecosystem. I focus on 4 things. Cash flow. Cash is trash. Cash flow is king. I take the cash flow, I put it into deflationary assets that are opposite of the US dollar that have fixed supplies, hence Bitcoin, XRP, and I'll explain that in just a moment. Then I focus on protection. Rule number 1, don't lose money. Rule number 2, follow rule number 1, Warren Buffett. I protect my money in cash value life insurance. I put money into my premiums monthly, and when it goes parabolic, the crypto, I max fund my policies, okay? Increasing my family bank. And number 4 is leverage responsibly, okay? So Bitcoin, let's talk about Bitcoin first. Bitcoin is a bank for my family. Of course, I'm not going to get as much of a big of a bank. I'm big as of a bang for my buck that I'm going to get with XRP, XLM, HBAR, VeChain, ADA, all those different assets that I own, Solana. But I sure as hell am growing my Bitcoin by 50% every single year. That sounds pretty good, man. Treasuries 5%, bank account 0.0%. Okay, so I'm growing 50% every single year. So that's a bank. I take my extra cash outside of investing in cash flowing dividends, okay, investing in more cryptocurrency, okay, like XRP. I'm going to explain that in just a moment. I store my excess cash in Bitcoin. Why? Because my family bank is increasing. I'm never going to sell my Bitcoin. Okay, so we'll put that over on the side for leverage. Okay, so Bitcoin I buy every day. XRP I buy every day, a dollar cost average. You go to Starbucks, you eat out every day. I don't. I take that money and I put it in there. That's how simple it is. And if you just did that and you compounded that, set it and forget it till retirement, you'll probably do pretty damn well. Okay. So then let's talk about the next component. All my other cryptocurrencies, altcoins, to include XRP. Okay. I'm holding 50% forever. Legacy. Just in case there's a super cycle, I will never touch it because I can leverage this, the Bitcoin. In the future, I'll be able to leverage all these and I will stake them. Okay. And I'll make sure that I'm making cash. Make sure that I'm making cash when DeFi is totally solidified and settled. I'm not giving anybody my crypto right now. I'm holding on to it. Okay. So from there, I use cash value life insurance. So when I exit, the only reason I exit is because I have something to do with every single dime. So yes, I'm paying long-term capital gains, but imagine I'm pulling profits. I'm putting into a cash value life insurance policy. Then I can borrow at 5%. Okay. I can take that and put it into a cash generating dividend and grow it dramatically. I'm crushing the hurdle rate over here, and it basically mitigates my long-term capital gains because I'm creating a massive amount of cash flow. Crypto comes down, boom, I'm back into cryptocurrency. Okay, so every single week I'm buying cash generating dividends that pay me cash every single week. I de-risk because that's the highest risk part of my portfolio, which gives me the highest return. I de-risk back into Bitcoin and XRP. So daily I'm buying Bitcoin and XRP. Every month I buy Solana. All my other bags are packed in my cryptos. Okay, every month I put money in my cash value life insurance premiums. Okay. And I use leverage. For example, I leveraged against my Bitcoin at 14%. I bought a cash generating firm, my insurance firm that was already generating. We just moved into first position, paying the firm off. Okay. I'm making 36% of my money this year. 7 payments left. Our 8th payment is coming out right now. Our 4th payment. We have 4 payments, 5 payments. I think there's 7 payments left, 7 months left. And once that's paid off, I literally have a cash generator. Someone's like, whoa, what if Bitcoin goes to zero? Well, damn well, along the way, I'm going to buy a bunch of cash generating dividends, businesses. And so by the time whoever is saying it's going to go to zero, I'm leveraging and buying cash. I'm buying businesses. I'm buying things that generate me income. So if it does go to zero, I created a bunch of wealth for my family and I'm stuffing it into cash value life insurance, real estate, all these different things. My point is it's currency. And my point is they are distracting the living shit out of you. Okay? I can't do anything about the Epstein files. I can't. There's nothing I can. It's horrible what is happening in our world. This has been going on since the Roman days. They mocked Jesus. Who do we pay our taxes to? He says, who's on the coin? He said, Caesar. He said, pay your taxes to Caesar. Give to God what is his. Give to me what is mine. He's like, pick up your mat and walk, man. Pick up your mat and walk. Get your shit together. Like, what did you do the last 24 hours? I, like you, thought they were going to come in and reveal everything. And now everybody's all for, what do you expect? Like, what do you expect? They swing the pendulum to the left. They swing the pendulum to the right as you come into the middle ground. Miramata Musashi, the void. Bruce Lee, be fluid like water. Okay? Jesus Christ, the middle ground. Go up and to the right. I'll sit right in the middle. The supper. He was humble. He washed all the people's feet, even the person that was going to kill him. Grace. Discipline. Consistency. Focus on your family. And I'm telling you what, these are all distractions, man. All distractions. We're going to open our eyes in 2030. The middle class is going to get wiped out because inflation is coming, guys. Hyperinflation. You can't print money in a low interest rate environment like this with massive amounts of debt without causing inflation in the future. It may feel good for a couple of years. It's going to be very, very abundant for a couple of years, but what goes up must come down. And guess what? Your cash is going to be worth less. And guess where they're going to be at? Hey, guys, we're over here in Bitcoin. The supply's gone. Sorry. There's a supply and demand issue. They only mine 450 a day. There's only 5% of the supply is left. And we pretty much buy it up every single day. So it has to be a buyer and seller. And I ain't selling shit because that shit's going to go up every single year. And I'm going to create massive amounts of leverage that I could use to buy cash, to store, to make interest income, to lend it to you on a DeFi platform. I'll be able to do that with my Xrp. I'll be able to do that with my Solana. Right now, my Solana is staked, making, I think, 4% right now on Coinbase. Okay. So it's a lot of information. So if you need support, okay, I have a whole free section on my YouTube channel, tons of free education. We also have a Warrior Academy, which is in the description of this video, or click my profile and social media. If you're watching this on social, we have the 3T Warrior Academy. I've helped 11,500 people. It's education. We do not invest people's crypto. Don't ever respond to anybody asking you about your crypto. That's all scammers. We have an education platform. Okay. We show you how to fish, and then we fish right next to you. I also have my own elite insurance team. It's called Freedom Insurance. It's my company. I brought on 9 elite agents that understand how to structure these properly and how to fund these properly and how to educate you on my ecosystem. Okay. On how I use cash value life insurance. Okay. What I do may not work for you. So it's a free consultation. We break it down. You know, there's age. It's a life insurance policy. You have to understand that, right? They have to be structured properly. You have to know how to fund these properly. There's not a one size fits all, mill where you just open up a bunch of policies for people. You got to set it up properly. You need to be educated on how they work. And you should be thinking about your children. You should be getting your children set up as soon as humanly possible. Remember, money compounds every 7 years at 10%. I'll give you an example. My daughter is 21. My son is 9. He has 1.7 compounding cycles over his sister. She has to save $700 a month. I have to save $300 a month for them to retire with the exact same amount at 62. He just has 1.7 compounding cycles over here. That's how quickly you lose when you wait. Every second that goes by, a minute on this video, you have less time to compound. So that's why I'm accelerating my cash and deflationary assets to grow. Boom. I'm pulling it out. I'm protecting. I'm compounding around 6 to 12%. Okay. I'm borrowing, leveraging, boom, creating more cash, deflationary assets. Boom. We repeat the cycle, rinse and repeat. Got to keep money moving. It's currency. The bank makes it money. You put your money in a bank, they bank it up, and then they take it and make it current. Put yourself in first position. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.